San Francisco, they say they can sort of tell based on a smaller earthquake that just happened there. That the two tectonic plates are pushing a lot of pressure against each other, and there'll be a really big one. It could be any day. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe today, maybe a month from now, whenever. But that's just how the plates work. They have so much pressure, eventually it releases. But then I read there's also, and this is something like the whole West Coast is not prepared for, and it's something we didn't even really understand because we've only been measuring earthquakes on the West Coast for like 150 years or something, so we didn't really know before that how often they occurred, how big they were. But eventually scientists were able to sort of piece together, based on information from around the world, when the earthquakes happened. And there's basically a really huge one on average every 240 some years, 243 years. They say the last really big one was in 1700, and that caused a tsunami in Japan, and Japan didn't know where the tsunami came from. Normally they've been measuring for 1500 years their tsunamis and earthquakes, I guess, and so this one, there was no earthquake in Japan. They thought it was like a phantom tsunami or something. They didn't know where it came from. Eventually we discovered there was a big event here that killed a bunch of trees, and it turned out the ground fell like down, and that's what caused the trees to die very suddenly. And turns out that happened just a few hours before the tsunami in Japan.
Good God.
So it's been over 300 years. So the earthquake could come any day. It's like there's a 1 in 5 chance of having a big earthquake, but that's kind of basically survivable. But then a 1 in 10 chance of, or maybe it's the other way around. No, I think it's a 1 in 10 chance. There was an article I read, I'll link to it in the description, on the West Coast of having a massive earthquake that would like devastate the West Coast. It could cause a tsunami of 45 feet or maybe even more, I think. It would, there'd be no way to evacuate. You'd have to get out on foot.
It's gonna cover everything.
The roads would be destroyed. They said Seattle would be destroyed. In Seattle, a lot of it's not even built for earthquakes. Even California, most of it's not built for earthquakes, even though they've had them, and they knew about them for a while. The coasts would be devastated. Hospitals, schools, they're all within this area that could be hit by a tsunami and just wiped away. And it wouldn't just be water, it would be cars and buildings in the water coming towards you. Power could be out for a long time. There wouldn't be any clean drinking water for even longer, like months or years. All this just devastating stuff, and basically everyone's in denial about it, I guess. Nobody's really prepared. I'm never going to a beach on the West Coast until after this happens. I'm just not doing it, because the day I'm there, it would be an incredible sight to see that, but you'd be dead. There's no way to survive. You can't swim through it or whatever. The water would just swallow you up and you'd drown, or your head would be bashed against something.
All the boats are going to be shut down.
They say like a 1 in 10 chance of that happening, and eventually it's going to. These massive plates under the ground have so much pressure against each other, and nobody's really prepared for it. I don't really know how you would be prepared, other than they say the way to survive a tsunami is you have to be away from it. Just don't even be there. That's it. It's kind of not a good like answer to anyone who's, it's like an answer to how to avoid car accident. Don't drive, don't go on the road. It's not really a help in a way, in that you'd like there to be a better answer, like a very well fortified building or something. But on the other hand, you don't even know if you'll be inside when it happens.
In other words, it will be too fast. It will come so quick.
It's whenever it happens, it'll destroy cities like Seattle, supposedly, and the very West Coast. LA, a lot of it's far enough inland where I don't think the tsunami would hit it, but I can imagine if the earthquake's big, it'll still be wrecked, and who knows what'll happen to the roads and buildings and schools and hospitals, all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, the whole West Coast is gonna be wiped out. That's not why
people are in denial. I just don't understand. Like, how can you? I would never go to the beach now.
I was a child. I was in elementary school, and I was in Greece, and it was like summertime, and how is the front of our house is right there is the water. everything, it was calm. I mean, not even waves, you know. It was a day you couldn't separate the sky from the water. That's how clear and calm it was. And I was standing in front there waiting for something, either a friend of mine to come play, or I don't remember. And it was boats just laying on the water, just kind of resting with the anchor and the chain and the, you know, by the harbor. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I saw these boats going like this, and no waves. And I said, what in the world is going on? And I saw the water boiling, like you have a water in the pot there and go like this. And then I felt the ground shaking like that, like you know, just like that. And I started walking, and I was, you know, then I heard my grandmother screaming at me. He says, stay outside, stay. And everybody's coming out of their houses. The bells, it was ringing at the church. And it lasted maybe, I don't know, maybe 45, 50 seconds or a minute, because I know at the time it was the 70s, you know, a lot of houses crumbled a little bit. Whatever house it was built with, you know, not our house, it's like a brick and cement and all that stuff. But I tell you, I felt the vibration. But the most impressive thing of that, the earthquake, it was the water. You should see the water, it was boiling. Just boiling. I didn't know what it was, and the boats, it was just like that. And it was something. I really got scared. And another time, when I was in Greece in 2005, you remember I went there for 2 weeks?
Wait, by yourself?
Yeah, 2005.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it was October. Mm-hmm. I went for 2 weeks. I had to do something there, and you were here with that and stuff. And I was there, and I didn't feel like I want to sleep in the regular bed at the bedrooms, you know. So I just lie down on the couch, you know, where the big kitchen is. You know, it's kitchen. They have 2 couches, kitchen, dining room.
Okay,
it's huge. Yeah, it's big one. So I said, I lie down here. It was 11 o'clock at night. And I always leave the key on the counter next to the door, so when I go out, I see it, so I take it. I woke up, and it was around 1 o'clock, and the couch is here, the china cabinet is there, and I saw the glasses and the whole cabinet go like this. I said, oh my God, and I felt the couch, it was moving and everything. I got up, I grabbed the keys, I ran out, you know, I saw all the neighbors. You should see windows opening, balconies, doors, everything, everybody. I said, don't stay on the balcony, you know, it's dangerous. Everybody's coming out and yelling and screaming, and again, you hear the bells ringing, you know, because Greece has a lot of earthquakes, you know. So it was something. Oh,
yeah, and they say
just imagine right now here, and you feel the ground under your feet moving and shaking. It's the vibration you feel in your body and everything. Oh.
They say the longer an earthquake goes, that's how they measure it. So, you know, like the one in Japan, that was like about 4 minutes 4 years ago.
4 minutes?
So that was like a 9.0. That's how they knew it was really bad. Like, because I read one account of it. They said, you know, it started at first, like there was a meeting, just one account from like a group of scientists or whoever who were meeting, I don't know. Again, I'll link to the article. It's a long article, but it's a good read, and it provides a lot of information to sort of set up the idea to make it clear just what this is and the science behind it, and why we can be pretty certain this is coming to the West Coast, and would be a huge, like 700-mile long, like tidal wave or something like that.
Good God.
They said, like, at first, you know, it started, and they have a lot of earthquakes in Japan. Some places, I think they said like every week. So at first they just were laughing and they, you know, stayed calm. they check their watches. After a minute or so, they know, like, oh, this is getting worse. Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Like, they all got out of the building by then. I didn't realize when we had a very small earthquake here, it was like a 4.0. It's the one that cracked the Washington Monument.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
In 2011, yeah. I was at my job. It was funny. I was going to the bathroom, and I thought, and I heard a rumbling at first. It wasn't shaking, just rumbling. I thought, oh, there must be a truck working on the septic system outside.
Yeah.
Sometimes a truck comes to clear up. There's a car wash outside. I was like, oh, sometimes they come and take the plate off and like clean up the septic system. I was like, must be cleaning it up. Then I went outside and I saw there was one SUV parked outside. It was rocking back and forth. Two of my coworkers, we just stood there looking at each other like, like, what is this? But we should have went outside. It was only a one-story building. Thankfully, it's a small one, and there's no buildings really close to us, but we should have went outside. I didn't realize. We just stood there like, what is this?
Yeah, and it's not only that. You feel, it was another time. It was a small earthquake, but it was, big enough to. I was in one of our properties, and we have like a steps built up with rocks, and to go to the olive area, and I saw the rocks. It was rumbling, coming down, and I hear my father, get out of there, get out of there, and it was rumbling, and you hear like this, and it's different vibration though. It's not like the truck is going by and vibrate, and it's like this.
Well, yeah. They also say a lot of, like, they could have big landslides, of course. When this earthquake hits the West Coast, like, the ground will liquefy, and that's really bad. It'll rip houses off their foundations. Not only that, they say anything loose will fall over. So, like, this refrigerator would fall over. The cabinets will all open up. Everything unfastened would fall over in this huge earthquake.
Oh, God. But 4 minutes is a long...
Yeah, and so that's when they knew, like, at least in Japan, they're kind of well prepared for that, but they weren't prepared for this. They didn't think that could happen, like one that big. So,
oh, my God.
So they had an early warning system. At least they, warned doctors, don't start performing surgery, all that stuff. They had sirens going. They knew get away from the coast, but they didn't expect it to be that huge. And of course, then they weren't ready, and the power plant it destroyed the Fukushima plant. It spewed nuclear radiation and stuff around.
The advice I got from my grandparents, my parents, and everybody else is, you see earthquake, because Greece is earthquake place. Just get out. Get out of the house and stay in an open area, just get out.
Well, there aren't many tall buildings where you live. Pretty much no tall buildings. Except maybe
but
a hotel
still,
or
the houses can, if it's a big like that. So.
But I mean, like in a city, you can't just stand outside by a building. It's not good because the windows will break. Right. The buildings could fall.
Or the tree is gonna fall, or whatever.
Anyways, I don't know what the West Coast could do, because they say Seattle would be just destroyed. Like, people think they're safe there because they live their lives there. They forget, how dangerous it can be, because we haven't lived through it ever.
And
Nobody has.
Oh my God, it is bad.
We didn't record them back then because no American or no European. There weren't anybody like Europeans that were taking records from the West Coast. The Native Americans that were here, they didn't. I think the ones that were living on the West Coast, they said in the article, they didn't write down anything. They didn't have written language. So I think they told stories about earthquakes, maybe, but they didn't have records they could show when the Europeans came and settled it for America to really tell them anything about it. So nobody really knew this was possible. But it's insane. I'm like, what do people do? I guess they all have to move from the coast.
Just imagine, right now we're talking about an earthquake and it happens, I mean, come on, it's the most scariest thing.
I mean, what should people do, though? That's what I wonder. I wonder, put in the comments, like, what would you do? Yeah, if you're far enough inland, you're safe, but still, I gotta think, even being in LA, it'll be devastated. I mean, if the area next to you is flooded and destroyed, it's not like you're okay. And plus, the earthquake, I'm sure it would shake, devastate buildings and streets, and all. It would be really expensive to live and all that kind of stuff. I mean, expensive because so much is destroyed and people die and all that stuff.
First of all, I mean, think about it. It's going to take years to rebuild. If the
and bridges would be ripped up.
If the earth sinks just, you know.
That's the thing. The ground would
the
fall,
ground
like literally fall.
and it's gonna be years and years and years rebuilding.
Yeah.
If they rebuild, oh my God, oh
right.
Lord, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Any other filmmaking city want to take me? Let me know, because L.A. I don't know if I want to go there. Dick Masterson and Maddox, they had an argument on their podcast a few weeks ago, where Dick said earthquakes are the biggest problem in the universe. He said, vote up earthquakes. He listed the problems, why, the statistics. Maddox said, no, it's actually, like, when you rebuild from earthquakes, it's good for, the financial situation, improves buildings and stuff. And Dick said, no, that's actually a fallacy. That's a mistake. It's destruction. You could put that money elsewhere. And they had this argument. It was a good argument that continued for the next few weeks. But here's a guy you're not too popular with, and he's not popular with you, really, Dick Masterson.
Don't ask me to agree with him.
Well,
let me tell you something. Earthquakes, take it seriously, because there is no warning. Just take it seriously and buy food or whatever. If you hear this news in Greece, everybody gonna run and empty the supermarkets, the banks and everything, and be prepared and go live on the field somewhere.
What if, Greeks don't seem that well prepared for disasters
yes, they do.
But
I agree with Maddox, okay?
What?
Well, the thing is, I do agree with the earthquake is coming, okay? But don't ask me to agree with this guy, Meyerson, Masterson.
You can't do the big thing? You can't do the big thing here? Just
listen to me.
Sometimes even enemies have a common, whatever.
Yeah, but don't ask me to agree with a
right,
foolish person who said he's better than women. I still remember that.
Women are affected by earthquakes too.
Yes,
I think.
Vote up earthquakes. Be prepared. I mean, I don't want to sound like I love Frankie, but I want to leave the show for him, okay? Yeah. I want to leave the fun for him, okay?
All right, just enough.
But just say, okay, what do you call his name?
Dick's right, Dick Masterson.
Well,
if men aren't better than women, then you can be better than him and agree with him on this.
I am better than him.
There. So you can agree with him. Don't be the lesser person. Okay. Because then he's right. Then he wins.
I hate to say this. I agree with him.
I'm sure Dick Masterson drinks water too. It doesn't mean you're going to stop drinking water.
Yeah. I hate to say I agree with him, but it is real. This is reality.
All right.
Maddox, I love you, and I'm still on your side. Okay.